It's another excellent night here at Crypto Cove. How's everyone doing tonight?
We're doing
Good.
wonderful.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And I see we have a couple new faces to Crypto Cove. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. And for anyone here unfamiliar with Crypto Cove, basically these are unofficial calls that I put on myself to go over a couple different cryptocurrency topics that I think people would be better off knowing about and learning more about. So once again, welcome. We're glad you're here. So tonight we're actually going to go over the matter of the transition and how you would get a new wallet address and a new account on your existing wallet. And we're going to be covering several different wallets, both on the extension side as well as their mobile app counterparts. So yeah, this definitely is going to be a pretty good content packed call. Anyone who's been on one of my calls before knows that I do tend to pack it full of quite a bit of content. So, with that, without any further ado, let's get started. And before I actually get into us going over the different wallets, I want to go over the transition notice and break this down for everyone here because there has been a bit of confusion here. So right now we're standing at 5 days, 7 hours, and change until the transition. And that goes by Hawaiian time for anyone who didn't catch the last call. Now, we can go over the holdings value. I'm not going to really go over that because this is going to be different for pretty much everyone, but suffice to say, you can definitely see why it's a good idea for us to be doing this and why it's a good idea for us to follow the loop rules as we go on into the transition. Because if we take a look at where it's showing my values will be, yeah, I'm going to be a multimillionaire, and probably the majority of the folks on this call are going to be as well. So, folks, congratulations. You all millionaires. You just don't know it yet. How does that sound?
Thank you.
Love it.
Yeah,
Sounds
Fantastic.
good.
it's
All right, so
wonderful.
excellent. All right, so let's go over the instructions. Instructions. Create a brand new wallet on the BNB chain. That's the Binance Smart Chain. And make sure it is empty and unused so you will fully enjoy the tax exempt status of these coins set apart under our new foundation. Do not add BNB, USDT, PFI, PFB, PFS, PFG, or PML to this wallet. Keep it completely empty. And I'm going to expand on that a little bit, and I'm going to definitely put a bit of a finer point on that. So let me go ahead and stop the share because I want to make sure I have everyone's attention. Now, my token holdings there, adjusted for their new value, would probably be to the tune of around $5 million. And there's plenty of people that are doing much better on that front than I am. So, folks, raise your virtual hand if you'd be good for a multi-million-dollar tax bill. Anyone? Anyone at all?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's not something you're supposed to say yes to. That's a bad thing. But anyway, that's why it's important for us to do this, for us to well, you have to understand that we're not doing this to avoid taxation. We're doing this in an effort to try and lower our tax bill as much as possible, the same way that the rich and powerful do. And Ace discussed this a fair bit on the call last night. So if you haven't watched the last co-founders meeting, you really, really should. That's required watching. Yeah, basically we need to make sure everyone gets on the same page and stays on the same page for what we're going to be doing here. Because if we're not on the same page and someone doesn't do what they need to do when they need to do it, that person is going to be left behind. That's just it at this point. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll get back to it. Insert wallet address here. We'll come back to this later. Get this done way before the 15th of January, and the sooner the better, definitely. That's why I did this call at short notice. On the 15th of January, these buttons are going to be active. We've got Move PFI tokens, Move PFB tokens, Move PFS tokens, and Move PFG tokens. Now, each of these buttons is going to allow you to send all what you have in each of our tokens to the smart contract to be locked up. PML is not included in this, and this is going to be a one-shot deal, all or nothing. You're going to send the entirety of what you have in PFI, the entirety of what you have in PFB, the entirety of what you have in PFS, and the entirety of what you have in PFG. There's no keeping any allowed. Those who fail to move their coins will lose all holdings and will not be able to get new coins ongoing and will not be able to become a co-founder or a partner. So basically, you will be stuck in the old coin membership forever. Now, the old coins could absolutely still find value to them, but it's not going to be anywhere near as high as what will be for our new tokens. So I'll tell you that right now. And you can definitely take that to the bank. All right, so Ace did a quick video with Leslie Way a couple days ago when this was put up on how to set up a new coin wallet. And yeah, he definitely did a decent job, although it was a bit limited to MetaMask, since, of course, MetaMask is the most popular wallet amongst our members, although we have seen a few up-and-comer wallets start to gain popularity in the community. But with that in mind, let's go back up, and in the insert wallet address here field, that's obviously where we're going to be putting our new wallet address. And once we have it put in there, we'll click on the green save button. Now, this is not the same wallet address that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be changing it after we're done here because I don't want anyone sending anything to this wallet address, and you shouldn't want anyone sending anything to your wallet address that you use with us either. And again, keep this wallet completely empty. Do not send any of our tokens to it. Do not send BNB. Do not send USDT. Do not send whatever you think you would want to send. Do not do it. That new wallet is basically sacred ground. Do not, I repeat, do not touch it. All right, so are there any questions about that before we move on to the wallets?
Hunter, we're going to just keep it completely blank, basically, is what you're saying, correct?
Yep, keep that wallet completely empty. Keep that account completely empty.
So, Hunter, I have a
Because-
question. This is Darlene. Go ahead. You
All right,
finish off. Finish what you saying.
No, I was just about to tell you to go ahead. So go ahead.
Okay. So this is for the pool funding. This is not to deal with the Shining Stars, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, this has
Okay.
entirely to do with pool funding. This has nothing to do with Shining Stars.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I need to know. Thank you. So I can try to understand this.
Yeah. And for anyone who was confused about that, honestly, just ignore it. It's not really important. All right, so we're going to go ahead and actually, are there any other questions about any of that? Yeah, just ignore it, Gregory.
Okay.
All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll get to the wallets. Now, I usually keep either one or two wallets fluid on my browser maximum because I tend to interact with a couple different chains that MetaMask just doesn't support. But for this instance, I hastily created several different wallets with several different wallet providers. So I've got 5 different EVM compatible wallets here. I've got MetaMask, I've got SafePal, I've got Token Pocket, I've got Trust Wallet, and I've got Rabby. Now, this is where I have to put a big disclaimer here. Professional weirdo on a closed course. Do not, I repeat, do not do this. Have one or maybe two wallets maxed on your browser at one time, as long as they don't conflict with each other. If they do start to conflict with each other, go down to just one. And I highly recommend using MetaMask as your mainline wallet. But of course, people are going to have their preference. But again, this is the key point that I can't put too far of a point on. Do not do what I have done here. I did this because this is TV, and I did a stupid thing, and I don't want you to do the stupid thing. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and start with MetaMask since that's still the most popular amongst our community. And how you would create a new account here in MetaMask is actually relatively simple. So first we're going to open up MetaMask. And then we're going to click where it shows our account name here. In my case, mine is account 5. Yours is probably going to be different. So with that, we'll go ahead and scroll down until you see a button that says add account. We'll go ahead and click, excuse me. We'll go ahead and click that button. And we have the new account set up. So we'll go ahead and click on that account. And we can see that this wallet address is completely empty. If we want to be completely sure of that, we can actually copy the Ethereum address right here. And we can check it on via C-scan. And we can see that there's no activity on this vault whatsoever. And we can also see there's nothing on any other chain because there's no addresses found and no entries found here. So as expected, we're looking at a completely new, completely fresh, and completely clean wallet. And that's the way it should be for posting here in the insert wallet address here field. So how we would get our wallet address, and of course I just showed you, is we would go ahead and hover over the token symbols here and click on the wallet address here where it says Ethereum. Now, that's going to be the case for every wallet address that's on the Ethereum chain, or rather is compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine. So that does include the BNB chain or the Binance Smart Chain, depending on who you're talking to. It's the same thing, just different names for it. So that's how it will be. And some of you eagle-eyed viewers might notice a little button here, part of the button that looks like 2 pieces of paper. In fact, let me see if I can zoom in on this at all. Nope, it doesn't look like it. Okay, well, in either case, you'll see a button here that looks like 2 pieces of paper, and that's usually going to be what the copy button looks like, regardless of what wallet you use. I say usually because there's a couple exceptions to this rule, but in general, you'll see this little button, this little indicator here that looks like two pieces of paper for any copy button that you see in any wallet. So that's something you'll pretty much see universally, regardless of whatever wallet you're using, with few exceptions. So now we have that copied, we can go ahead and paste that into this section here. I'm not going to do that because, again, I'm not going to reveal that here on the call with the screen share as to which wallet I'm going to be using exactly. But how we would do this is we would either hit Control V or Command V on our keyboards, or we could right click on the field and click on the paste button here. All right, so that's MetaMask here on the extension. And Rod, do you have a question?
A little bit confused there for a minute, Hunter. You saying that we click on the Ethereum, we're putting an Ethereum address in there and not the BNB Smart Chain.
It'll be the same address because the Binance Smart Chain uses the same address format and the same addresses as the Ethereum. So
Okay.
your Ethereum address is going to be the same address as your Binance Smart Chain address, your Avalanche address, your Polygon proof of stake address, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
There's only a few exceptions to this here in MetaMask, and in fact, I'm going to show those to you right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Here in MetaMask, there's only two exceptions to this, and that's in the case of Solana. You can see that Solana uses a different address format than Ethereum does, and Bitcoin, since MetaMask added Bitcoin compatibility not too long ago. But you can see that Bitcoin's address format, again, looks a lot different from Ethereum's address format, wouldn't you say? So yeah, that's definitely something that we should actually put a bit finer point on. Make sure you click on the Ethereum address here. Do not click on the Bitcoin address here for this. Do not click on the Solana address here for this. Alrighty, so are there any further questions on that before we move on to the next wallet? And Paul, you have your hand up.
Yeah, why are we using the Ethereum? Are the charges not more in Ethereum?
Did you zone out or something? Because I literally just explained that. Right, let me click view all, so hopefully everyone can see it more clearly. Okay, so we have Ethereum on this wallet. We can see that the wallet address for Ethereum on this account ends in B3D. And let's take a look at the other different networks here that are compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine. We see the Lina network here. We can see that address ends in B3D. That's the exact same address. We can also see the same for the base chain. We can also see the same for the BNB chain. And we can also see the same for the Say chain, and so on and so on. So if it's compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine and BNB chain is compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, then it's going to be the exact same address. It just shows up as Ethereum over here where MetaMask has it on this quick pick menu, because Ethereum is the most popular chain in Web3 by far. So makes sense to have that put there.
Okay, thank you. And does the seed phrase stay the same?
Yes, the seed phrase stays the same. because each and every account you create in MetaMask, and for that matter, any other wallet, so long as you're creating an account, is derived from the very same 12-word seed phrase. Now, if you want, you can create an entirely new wallet to use for this purpose. That is indeed an option, but that creates more complexity because now you have to manage that 12-word seed phrase as well as potentially that private key. So yeah, there's definitely a saying in a lot of different industries and a lot of different communities. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So yeah, why make things more complicated? All right, so it looks like we have a couple hands up, so I'll go ahead and stop the share. And Shelly, I think you had your hand up first.
So it's that easy?
Yeah,
Like
it's
in my
it's that
head,
easy.
I just had myself so psyched out and thought I'm going to be waking Hunter up in the middle of his night again, crying, begging for him to help me. So I can't believe it's that easy. So after we do that, we do nothing else.
Yep, indeed. And once you
Wow.
get the wallet address copied, you paste into the spots
Yep.
over in that website where you need to and click the save button. That's all there
Wow.
is to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, and David, I believe your hand was up next.
Hi, can I use token pocket wallet?
You can, and in fact, that's one of the ones that we're going to be talking about.
Oh,
So
great.
stay
I
tuned
went,
because
oh, thank you.
that section is coming up.
Oh, great. Because I set one up yesterday, but it puts a few default points in there already, including B&B. And I deleted the other two, but it won't let me delete the B&B one.
As long as there's nothing actually in any of those, then that's fine.
Oh, okay. But I will watch your training when you come up to that to make sure I've done it right. Thank you very
Alrighty,
much.
no problem. All right, and Gregory, go.
So yesterday, I watched the video that Ace had done with Leslie, I think it was, and I created a new pool funding tax exempt account on my MetaMask on my laptop. Then I went over the post that Justine had done and did the same thing, but then on my phone. But the two accounts do not have the same number. So what can I do at this point to make my phone recognize the same account as my laptop?
So what I would do, because the way each instance is set up is that your MetaMask account, your MetaMask wallet on your phone doesn't know that you create a new account over on the MetaMask wallet on your laptop. So if the two don't match up with the new wallets that you created, then that means that you should probably check over each of the wallet addresses that you have on your phone. So check over each and every one of your accounts that you have set up on your phone and see if any of those match. And if not, then create more wallet addresses on your phone until you get to the one that matches.
The strange thing is on my when I created on the laptop, I called it pool funding tax exempt. When I created on the phone, I called it the exact same thing. Yesterday, the account on my phone said pool funding tax exempt. Today, it says pool funding tax exempt parentheses 2. But yet when you click on it, it's only showing the account number that I created for my phone, not showing me the account number I created on the laptop.
So it sounds like that you have a syncing issue there with perhaps an additional address that was created and named a similar name. So again, take a look at all the accounts in your MetaMask wallets. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb, basically, and see if any of them match with the wallet address that you've set to be that on your laptop. And if they don't, then you gotta make some more accounts.
Okay, yeah, none of them match. And I was just surprised that the phone, when it put the tax exempt number 2, it seemed to recognize that there was already one on my laptop, and yet I can't find that one that I created on my laptop anywhere on the phone.
All right, so yeah, again, you have to create some more accounts is what I would do in that instance.
Okay, I'll give that a try. Thank you.
All right, so Paul, you've got your hand up again.
Yeah, so if you create a wallet address, what happens if there is an amount showing on a coin there?
So if there's an amount showing on the BNB there that isn't 0.00, then that means that wallet address either has been used for something in the past or is still being used for something. In either case, that you don't want any of that commingling to happen. So make a new one until you get to one that shows 0.00 on any of the tokens that show up there by default. So in your case, I would say don't use that account. If you've got one that looks like that, make a completely a new one.
Okay, and it's easy enough to delete the one that does show?
So you can't actually delete wallet addresses, but you can hide them. There's several different methods of doing that per wallet. I'm not going to go too much into that because that goes beyond the scope of this meeting. But yeah, you can hide them. There's no way to actually delete them proper, but you can hide them.
No worries, I did hide it. Thank you, Hunter.
All right, and Shelley, go ahead.
So at some point, are we going to be prompted to name it? Is that why everyone?
That's completely optional.
Oh, okay.
And people are doing that because Ace did that on his call.
Okay.
And some people might want to do it that way so they know what that wallet address is. But again, it's completely optional.
So if I want to
And
name it, where will it prompt me to name it?
so it won't prompt you to name it. You have to go ahead and go to the prompt to name it yourself. Like, for example, here in MetaMask, how we would do it, we'll go to the account 19 that we just created.
Yes.
And we'll click on the 3 dots that are by the account 19 over here in the account selector. And we'll click the rename button. Now,
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, I tend to keep my account names just as the account number, but if you decide you want to rename your account to something else, then that's absolutely your choice.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Alrighty. So, Gregory, did you have another question?
No, I just forgot to put my hand down.
Okay, so
Sorry.
with that, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and move on to the next wallet. All right, so next up is SafePal. So pretty easy to open. And how we would create a new account here is we would go to these 3 lines up in the top right corner where it shows my wallets number 1. And then we would click on the 3 dots right here. You may see the add wallets button here. Do not click it because that creates an entirely new wallet, which you may or may not want to do, but that's not what we're doing here. We're keeping things as relatively simple as possible. So we clicked on the three dots on My Wallet number 1, and we'll go ahead and click the Create Account button. And we can see we now have My Wallet number 4. I did this a couple times as a test, so we had a couple other My Wallets here. But yeah, that was pretty simple. And how we get our wallet address for this new account is we would go to one of the tokens here. Like, for example, I'm going to say the BNB BEP20 token, and I'll go ahead and click that. And I'll click the Receive button. Now, this is going to be the same for every single chain that you use with this particular wallet, with this particular private key. So with that, we can go ahead and click the Copy Address button. And hey, there's 2 pieces of paper again. What did I tell you? And just as before, we can go back to the Insert Wallet Address Here field and either hit Control or Command V as in Victor on our keyboard, or right-click on the field and click Paste, just as before. So that about does it for SafePal, and yeah, I'd say that was pretty simple. When you guys say?
Yeah.
Yes, it's very
All right, so
simple.
there's something here in the chat. I need to know more about pool funding, is what Darlene says. Darlene, I would get in touch with whoever invited you to this call or whoever your sponsor is, because they can help get you up to speed. Alrighty, so with that, are there any other questions?
Yeah, one more question. I'm sorry, Hunter.
No
So
problem.
does these platforms charge us fees?
Are you talking about pool funding, the wallet provider? What do you mean by platform here?
The pool funding, or like mega, what do you call it? Megahertz. Wait a minute, I gotta get the list.
MetaMask?
MetaMask. Does MetaMask, SafePal, or Token Pocket, any of them, are they high in fees, or you just doing that for just something different?
So the wallets themselves are completely free. They don't charge fees themselves for the creations of wallets or accounts. Now, if you do transactions on any of them, you may see fees due to the way gas fees and different chains work, but that's going to be the same regardless of which wallet you go with.
Okay,
Like for
thank you.
like for example, if you've had any interactions with Ethereum, you paid gas fees in Ethereum. That's going to be the same regardless of which wallet you use. If you've interacted with Bitcoin, you've had to pay transaction fees with Bitcoin. And again, that's going to be the same regardless of which wallet you use.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so are there any other questions? All right, so we'll go ahead and proceed. And next up is, if I can wait for this to disappear, next up is Token Pocket. Now, Token Pocket has actually been increasing a bit in popularity amongst our community. It's starting to be a bit of a sleeper hit amongst some parts of the pool playing community. Genuinely, I still recommend MetaMask as our mainline wallet of choice, but to each their own. Variety is the spice of life. But in order to make a new account here in Token Pocket, what we'll want to do is we'll want to click on the account 1, and then we'll click the add account button. And there we are. We're at our account 1-4. Again, I did this a couple times for as a test. So we can see we have a couple different accounts 1 dashes here. But in this case, we're going to stick with the account 1-4. And how we would copy our wallet address from here is we would go here to, again, these 2 pieces of paper right here. And from here, we can then click on whichever wallet address matches with what we're wanting. In this case, we actually have our choice. We could do either Ethereum or BNB chain because, again, they're going to be exactly the same. We can see it right here. These are exactly the same. But I'm going to go ahead and click the 2 pieces of paper by BNB chain. And that's copied. And just as before, we can either right click within the field and click paste, or we can press Control V or Command V on our keyboard. So yeah, again, that was pretty simple, wouldn't you all say?
Very simple.
So are there any questions about that before we move on?
No.
Alrighty, so with that, we'll go ahead and move on to Trust Wallet. All right, and one thing I want to point out is that if you see this notice up here, back up your seed phrase now, you really should do that before you move forward. That means that you still need to record your seed phrase. I'm not going to do that in this case because this is basically a dummy wallet. Most of these are dummy wallets here that I installed and set up specifically for this demonstration here. But in order to create a new account over here in Trust Wallet, we would go to seed phrase 1, and we would click on Add Account. And it'll prompt us to name our account if we want to name our accounts, or we can keep it at the default account number name, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Confirm. And here we are at our account 3. And in order to copy the wallet address from here, we would go to, hey, look, here's our 2 pieces of paper again. So we'll go ahead and click there. And again, we have our choice here because Trust Wallet actually supports a wide range of different assets. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click on the BNB on the BNB Smart Chain. So I'll click the copy button here. That's copied. And again, we can paste into the insert wallet address here field like normal. So yeah, pretty simple and no fuss there. Any questions about that before we move on to the last wallet I have here?
No question my side.
Alrighty. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the last wallet on my list here, and that is Rabby. Right. So in order to make a new account here, what we'll do is we'll click on this text here that shows, well, partially shows seed phrase. And we would click on Add New Address. Then we would click on Add from Current Seed Phrase and click Add Address. And on this screen, what we would want to do is click on the first slider button here that isn't highlighted. We see in my case, that's the 3rd one down. In your case, that might be the 2nd one down. All right, and this is in the way. We'll go ahead and click on Done. And we'll go back to pool funding. And we'll open Rabby back up. And we can see that we're on our seed phrase 1, account number 3. So we'll go ahead and click the back arrow to go back to the main menu of Rabby. Then we'll click the receive button. We'll click on BNB chain. And here we are, the wallet address we just created. So we can go ahead and click on copy address. And again, we can put it into the insert wallet address here field just as before. And yep, that goes through a decent range of some of the most popular wallets insofar as their extensions go. So are there any questions about that before we move on? Anything we just went over?
No, things okay.
Sure.
It's okay.
Rod, do you have your hand up?
Yes, Hunter, just coming back to the MetaMask one. When I've just done it on my phone and it didn't give me the option to go to the Ethereum network, it automatically came up with the BNB chain.
Yeah, there's a few differences between the mobile interface of wallets and their extension counterparts, and that's actually going to be the next section we're going to tackle for each of these wallets.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, you're setting me up here, Rod. You just don't know it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, so with that, that seems like a natural segue into the next portion here. So we'll go ahead and share my screen again. And for this, I'm going to have screenshots since I don't actually have a prop phone ready for security reasons. But this first set of screenshots we're going to go over is going to be regarding MetaMask. So we'll go ahead and open the first one. And yeah, this is strictly going to be simple, just like with extensions counterparts, but just a bit different. So we can see in my case, I have my account 5. What you'll want to do is you'll tap on your account name, and then that'll bring up the account selector, and you'll want to tap on the add accounts button. You may have to scroll down a bit if you have a bunch of accounts like I have here. But just get to it. Do not tap on the add wallet button here. So with that, after you've tapped on the add account button, it will bring you to your account. In my case, I selected the account 6 because that's what I saw first. And what you'll want to do from here is you'll tap on the button here that looks like, again, 2 pieces of paper. And then from here, you have your choice of different wallet addresses and different networks to copy them from. And again, most of these are going to be exactly the same with the exception of Bitcoin and Solana. In my case, I selected that we should copy the wallet address from the BNB chain. But yeah, you could pick any of these as long as they're not Bitcoin or Solana at this point in time. And with that, what you would do next is you would go to pool funding over in the browser of your mobile wallet, and you would input the wallet address here where you would normally put it here on your desktop or laptop as well. For anyone who's a mobile first wallet user, they're definitely used to using the mobile browser in their mobile wallet. So I didn't have that parts for any of these here, unfortunately. But it's Generally pretty similar to what you're used to already using the mobile wallet. So yeah, it won't look much at all unfamiliar to you. So are there any questions about that before we move on to the next one? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to SafePal. And here in SafePal, we're going to go ahead and tap on the name of our wallet up here in the top at the center of the main wallet interface. Then we're going to tap on the three dots by the wallet that we're on currently. Then we're going to tap Create Account. And then we're going to tap Create. Now, your wallet may have you authenticate again, depending on how you've set security settings in it. If so, you can enter your password or put on your fingerprints, etc., whichever way you have your wallet secured. And after that, then it will take us to our new accounts in this wallet. And what we'll do from here is we'll click on the, again, two pieces of paper. And that pulls up a wallet address selector. And this allows us to select any wallet address for any chain here. Again, we can use BNB chain as the example here. And then we can go over to pool funding and paste that wallet address into the exact same spot where we've been pasting it in all night long. All right, so are there any questions about that before we move forward? Wait, what was I screen sharing for that last one? I don't see the prompts here.
Yeah, you were.
Alrighty. So you all can see my screen right now.
Yep.
Right, for some reason, it's not showing the control panel for me. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on if there's no questions. And we're going to go ahead and move on to Token Pocket. And this one's a bit longer and more drawn out, but it's not too difficult. All right, so over at the main wallet interface for Token Pocket, we'll go ahead and tap the three dots here. In my case, it's showing BSC1. In your case, it may look a bit different. And from here, we'll go ahead and tap on Advanced Mode down near the bottom right. Do not tap the Delete Wallet button here. It creates a mess to try and recover that. And yeah, we don't need that when we're trying to get stuff done here. All right, so after we open up Advanced Mode, we'll tap Create a Subwallet. It'll ask you to confirm that the subwallet is generated by the recovery phrase. So the recovery phrase is very important. Once your recovery phrase is lost, the subwallet cannot be restored. Please confirm that your recovery phrase has been backed up and whether to continue. Now, I'll stop just a bit here, and yeah, definitely the recovery phrase, the seed phrase, the seed recovery phrase, depending on which wallet you're using, they might use slightly different terminology, but they all mean the exact same thing. The 12 words, the 13 words, or in some cases up to 24 words that are essentially used as a backup for your wallet as a mnemonic. That is absolutely important to have written down and saved somewhere safe. And as I like to say, it's basically treat that mnemonic and treat that list treat that phrase, treat that list of words, treat that whatever you'd like to call it, treat that like it's a solid gold brick to give you an idea. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. We've hit confirm. And it's going to show us a brief rundown as far as what we're creating here. And we'll go ahead and tap add wallet. And we're going to tap add one wallet. And we'll tap confirm. Most of the time, unless you're an advanced user, leave the wallet path alone, leave the wallet address field alone, just leave it at the defaults. All right, and here we are at the wallet list again, and now we're seeing our BSC2. So once again, we can tap on the 2 pieces of paper here to copy this address here. And then from there, we can go over to pool funding by tapping the back arrow. And again, we'll go to pool funding and paste that wallet address into, again, the same place we've been pasting it here. All right, so are there any questions about that before we move on?
No,
Alrighty, so let's move on to Trust Wallets. Trust Wallets, unfortunately, does not support separate accounts using the same seed phrase on mobile at this time. So we unfortunately do have to create an additional wallet on the mobile version of Trust Wallet. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. We're in the main wallet interface. We'll go ahead and tap on the main wallet one. Then we'll tap on add wallet. Then we'll tap on create new wallet. Then we'll tap on secret phrase and the create button. Do not tap on create on the Swift button. That creates an entirely separate type of wallet, which we really don't want to use here because that's going to break compatibility with anything else you might decide to use with this wallet. All right, and then it'll show us that our new wallet is ready. We can either fund it or skip. We obviously don't want to fund it, so we'll tap the skip button in the top right corner. And here we are at the interface for our main wallet 2. And we're going to tap on the button that looks like, hey, what does that look like, folks? It looks like 2 pieces of paper. So that brings up the receive menu, and that gives us the ability to select the wallet address that we want to copy. And we can tap on the copy button next to the BNB on the BNB Smart Chain. And from there, we can, again, go over to pool funding and paste that wallet address in just as before. Alrighty, so are there any questions about that before we move on to the last wallet?
No, thanks, Hunter.
Alrighty, so
No,
the
thank
last one will be Rabby. And again, this is a bit more involved than it usually is for most of their wallets, but it's not that difficult, even in this case. Okay, so we can see we're at the main wallet interface for the mobile version of Rabby. So we're going to go ahead and tap on the wallet icon here. In my case, mine has a 2. Yours might have a 1 or a 3. Whatever the case, just tap on it there. And we can tap on the first wallet address we see here. And it's going to show that we have funds in here because, of course, we've been using this wallet. Again, in my case, this is a dummy wallet, so I've got nothing in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap on the settings icon up in the top right corner. Then we're going to tap add wallets from the seed phrase. And that brings up a prompt that says manage seed phrase. We're going to confirm that, and it's going to have you authenticate yourself to your wallet again, either by your password or your fingerprints, depending on how you have your wallet secured. We'll go ahead and go through that. And that brings up a menu for you to select wallet addresses from. Now, in a lot of cases, you might see the second option here unchecked. In some cases, you may see the third option here unchecked. Whatever the first option you see here that's unchecked, go ahead and check that one. In my case, we see that that's the third one. So I went ahead and checked that one. And we can see that our new wallet address has been imported successfully. So I'll go ahead and tap done. And now that we're back at the main menu, we'll go ahead and tap receive. Then we'll tap the wallet address for our freshly new minted account. Then we'll tap on copy address. And again, then we'll go over to pool funding and paste that in. All right, so are there any questions about that, since that was the last one? All right, I'll go ahead and stop the share and take a look at the chat, see if there's anything in here. Maybe ask MetaMask support regarding how to show the wallet address we create in laptop to show in cell phone and vice versa. Again, accounts are created on a per device basis, but each account is derived from the same seed phrase. So if you're not seeing the wallet addresses match up when you think that they should, that means you should take a look at all of your accounts that you have with a fine-tooth comb and see if any of the addresses match. And if they don't, then that means you have to create some new accounts. You can ask MetaMask support if you'd like. That's also an option, whatever you'd like to do. All right, so are there any questions about anything we've gone over? All right, Paul, you have your hand up.
Yeah, and just confirming that when we do open up the wallet, we can use Ethereum or BNB, it doesn't matter when we do copy
Right.
and over.
Right, it's going to be the exact same wallet address.
Okay, and we can start doing that straight away?
Yep. In fact, it's best you do that as soon as possible because, in my opinion, and probably a lot of folks' opinion here in the community, the sooner that you get that straightened out with your new wallet address, the better.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah, all good.
All right, are there any other questions?
The address numbers, are they the same?
I'm sorry, say again. All right, so with that, we'll move along to our last portion here. And this is actually going to be just because I have a bit of a note here because some of you have been talking about my tooling here, more particularly the add all tokens button. Now, the way this tooling works is it uses the watch wallet assets coding within MetaMask as well as a couple other wallets to create a token add suggestion that covers all the different tokens that we use. The problem with that is that MetaMask themselves created that standard, and it's not something that's widely adopted. So this is something that I can really only guarantee works with MetaMask. I've seen in some cases that can work with Trust Wallets and some cases with Token Pocket as well. But again, it's not a widely used standard, and don't be surprised if it may not work if you use an alternative wallet. You can absolutely try it if you'd like, but again, don't be surprised if it doesn't work for you, because unfortunately that's just the way it goes, because there really aren't a ton of widely recognized and widely supported standards for adding token suggestions like the way I do here. So yeah, I can only guarantee that this works for MetaMask. It may or may not work for anything else. And unfortunately, there's really not much I can do about that. All right, so Rod, do you have your hand up?
Yes, Hunter. I've got as far as getting it on my mobile phone, but when I go to copy it on those little paper things, it just says scan QR code. It doesn't actually copy anything.
It sounds like you're tapping on the QR code button.
No,
The button that
I'll tap it. I'll tap it again. It's where those two little paper things are up at the top there.
Right, so the scan QR code button is, let me see here, it's just one button to the right of the
hang on.
button that looks like two pieces of paper. It should be the button that's right next to your account.
Yeah, the one next to the account. If I press that, it comes up with scan QR code.
All right, reach out to me after this call and we can take a look at what's going on with you personally. But it sounds like that's tapping the scan QR code button, and it may just be a bit of a fat finger thing going on, but I do want to check that for myself.
Okay.
So reach out to me after the call.
Will do.
Okay, and are there any other questions?
Hello.
Thanks, Hunter.
No, thanks, Hunter. That was great.
That was great, Hunter. Thank you.
And I have a question.
All right, go ahead, Joan, is it?
Yeah, when I created the new account, and then I went and I pasted it on the MetaMask, the address is different from the previous address that I've been using for the payments. Is that okay?
Right, because this is something this is a wallet address that has to be entirely separate from the wallet address that you use to make your payments from. So it sounds like you did everything right there.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so are there any further questions?
Hunter, I
think I've got it. Oh, keep going.
Good.
Go ahead, Rod.
Yeah, I think I've got it sorted because I've pressed it again, and it's now come up with receiving address, and it's got Ethereum and all the whole list of them. So
excellent.
I think
that's the right place. You're in the right place.
It's come back again. Okay, good one.
Alrighty. Okay, so with that, if there's no other questions, we can close out. But before we do that, I just want to give a bit of a message to the folks watching this over on YouTube. YouTube tells me that quite a few of the quite a few of the views that I get aren't coming from people that have subscribed yet. So if you've watched a couple different crypto code videos from me and you like the channel, then absolutely subscribe, because that also helps other Pool Flame members and other folks in the crypto community find this channel as well. And also, if you liked this video, if you like this call, you can go ahead and hit that button. If you didn't like it, well, you can hit that button, I guess. But anyway, yeah, like, subscribe. Oh, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. God, I hate that you have to do that now. Alrighty, so with that, if there's no other questions, we can go ahead and close out like we usually do. All right, so does anyone think I'll get it right this time?
Yes, you will.
Of course you will.
Laura averages.
Well, that's true.
Thank
That's true. Alrighty.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1. To the moon.
To the moon.
Well, that's at least that's better.
It's better than
the
poo.
last one. Yeah. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead and stop the recording.